Welcome to day 2 of my Sephora haul video for the Savings Event 2023 fall. So I have 2 more things that I got. I saw Michelle Wong talk about this Shiseido sunscreen that you put on over your makeup. I want to give this a try. It's clear and I like that idea. I think it's a little easier to do than the powder if I'm actually on the go. If I'm getting ready to go for a walk with Gracie, then I'll just do the powder. But if the other day I went on a 40-minute drive somewhere, and then a 45-minute drive somewhere else, and then home. And I remember feeling the sun on my face, and yes, I should have rolled up my window. But the next couple of days I had some redness. I think I got a little bit of sunburn, even though I had applied my sunscreen. So I thought this would probably be the perfect thing to just have in case. We'll see. And I got this in person, the Kerastase Chrome Absolute. I can't read it, but this is the shine, the gloss that I put in my hair. I talked about it in my first video, which was skincare and hair. I'll post it right here. And yeah, I think I'm kind of done. So we're going to put on some makeup. We're going to do the YSL palette, which is the first time I've ever had anything from YSL in the eyeshadow arena. But I also told you I was going to pick up a couple of other things because I usually do, you know, a new blush. But I don't think there are any new blushes out. A new lip, same thing, and or a new foundation. So there is a foundation. It's not brand new, but it came out a couple of months ago. And I didn't get it because looking online there wasn't a shade for me, and it's from Rose Inc. I was surprised there wasn't a shade because when she came out with that tint that had the little beads in it, it was a very good neutral, and I thought this bodes well for when she decides to do a foundation. But apparently the lab that they went to, I'm guessing, decided on the shades. So I got 2 samples and I'm going to blend them together. I have 10 neutral, which is light medium, and 12C, which is cool. So the 10 is quite light, and look how dark this cool is. Cools tend to be darker than neutrals for some reason, and cools, when I put them on anyway, they look a little gray on me. And this is the light one, which I thought in store was a little light for me, but it's just a little light. I could probably get away with this. I'm going to do mostly the light one. So I'm going to take like this much, put it on my hand, and then I'm just going to take a dab of the rose color and see what happens. And do finger application. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. I hope it doesn't deepen up too much as it dries, which isn't all that uncommon. I didn't look up anything. I was a bad YouTuber. Didn't look up anything. I was doing some hand washing today and laundry, and my washer decided it wasn't going to spin, so I had to take the little center thing off and look for debris, and it just kind of took up my morning, so I didn't have the opportunity to look it up. But it's great finger application, fantastic, really good color. This is pretty. Why doesn't anybody talk about this? It feels like there's probably some dimethicone in here, but it looks really, really pretty. I would say the coverage is a light medium to solid medium. I mean, I still see some redness on my cheeks. I'm just going to take some more, whatever's left, on my hand and just add a little bit here and just around the nose. This is super, super pretty, and I'm just going to wipe whatever's left right here. Pull it down a little bit. Really easy to apply, and it looks very, very pretty. Very, very skin-like. I'm so impressed, and I don't understand why I have seen nobody cover this foundation. Lately, I must confess to you, I have been loving the mix of this. You can't buy either of these at Sephora, and you can't buy one of them at all anywhere. But the Chanel Complexion Touch, which is too warm and too dark, and I've been mixing it with the Jane Iredale. So this was her foundation product before the new one came out, which has even less coverage, but together, good color and really beautiful, beautiful looking skin. That's what I was wearing in yesterday's video, which was the Danessa Myricks. I'll post it right here if you haven't seen it. So let's go into the YSL. Voila! And it looks like this. Super, super cute. They had several shades, but this one just looked like it's up my alley. That's what I'm into right now. I'm sure it'll change. We all go through stages. My stage right now is browns and taupes and things that don't look like too much, even if you're wearing a lot. By the way, the Danessa Myricks, I've got to put something on my lips. The Danessa Myricks that I wore yesterday looked fantastic all day long, and I thought that the black from the liner would transfer up here because I'm hooded, and that is usually what happens. It didn't. It was super beautiful, and when I went into the other room to look at it in different light, I was so pleased. It was such an understated, elegant kind of look. Yes, it does take some time, but I feel that once I get used to it, it's not going to take me so much time, but it will when I do that pouncing right here by the socket line. That takes a little bit of blend, but really, really thumbs up for that one. Let's do some swatches. We'll do this one first. These are really soft. So this is my first experience with YSL, and I feel that this is the matte, this is a shimmer, and these two are satins. Very, very pretty palette. Easy to travel with because it's small. Yes, we have seen all of these colors before, but I don't really care. And that's Swatches of all. This is so subtle and pretty. And this has some very nice shine. I like. I think this is going to be an easy eye in comparison to yesterday's video, which it took a long time. I don't know how I'm going to edit this, but I put on a color and I thought, God, my lids are so red. It's just these allergies from the wind that I decided to put on some concealer. I'm just powdering that down. I'll give it a minute and then we'll go ahead. Now we're going to go in with a squirrel. This is a fluffy from Chikuhodo, and squirrels pick up a little bit less. This is quite dense, powdery, so hit some of that off. And my lid should be dry, and we can see what's going on here. So interesting. There we go. So I'm going to do this in the socket, and probably almost all over. It's a great color for my skin tone for giving myself a little bit of the socket. Yep. You see the difference from side to side. It's like a little eyeball in all this whiteness and a little bit more shape. Same brush, the lighter color, and going to go on the lid. Well, this is a little bit of a pinky color, like a fleshy, slightly shell color. And there's payoff. That's nice. Sometimes with these lighter colors, there's not much. So the shadows are soft to the touch, but I also feel there's a little bit of sheerness. I mean, this one is fine, but the first one, you need to build it. But I don't really have a problem with that. It's so much easier to build than it is to blend and blend and blend, because you picked up something that's so dense in its color, you ended up putting on a little too much. This is clean. It doesn't look like it is. And this is the O2 from Refer, and it's a flat brush, and I'm going to just pick up some of this beautiful taupe shade and put it on the lid. Yeah, this is so pretty. So you can see it's more like a very gentle sparkle, not glitter, but it's sparkle that is in a taupey base. It's very subtle, which I like. And I didn't put this on the inner corner because I was afraid it might be a little dark, but it's not. So I'm going to just see, put in the inner corner and see what happens. It's not effective, you know, like something bright in the eye that opens it up, but it's not darkening either. I'm going to go into the same brush, it's picking up beautifully, and do, I guess, a little bit of liner. You could do deepening, but that doesn't always look so good on me, so I'm just going to run this by the lash line. And then I'm taking this pencil brush from Chikuhodo, also Squirrel, and I'm just fluffing it out a little bit so it's not really a hard line. Very, very nice. I could stop here, but just for the sake of investigating, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this small little brush and take a little of this dark color, but it's a little too dark for me to do outer. I'm going to do a little dip, and a little dip, and a little dip, and a bigger dip, because I don't want too much darkness. And do a little bit, what happened here? What did I do? Right here. It transfers onto the eye really, really well. I just want to be very careful. I don't want to go too big with this. Wipe that brush off, and now I'm just going to dip into the dark color. I should probably use a smaller brush and get it a little bit deeper right here. Wipe it off and take a bigger brush to do a little bit of a blend. And this is Ray Morris. It's synthetic. Designed to feel and behave like Squirrel. I got a little bit of drop down, but we will fix that. So I'm going to do the other eye off camera, then come back and we'll do some blush. I want to try powder without powdering my face to see how it works with the foundation, and then lip, the whole bit, final look, and conclusions. All right, November 23. I'm doing the brown instead of a black because I'm just going for an everyday kind of look. See how pretty this mascara is? It's just lovely. And since I had used that Charlotte Tilbury on my eyelids concealer, I thought, why don't I just put it on my under eyes as well? And I am right, it is a little bit too light. I'm going to see if I can powder this with a pink powder to kind of make it a little bit less, looks like I've been skiing and wore goggles. Any pink powder will do. The one I'm using isn't available at Sephora. It's by Terry. I think that will take down the sheen, which partly makes it look a little bit too light, but it also makes it a little bit more like skin tone. But the Givenchy has a powder as well that's pink. I'll tell you what, you guys, the palette, the Groundwork palette from Danessa Myricks, I really, really loved it, as I always said. But on the eyebrows, no. I prefer this, my NYX. Alright, I did a little bit of liner, a little bit of brows, mascara, you saw most of it. And I did the Hourglass liner, which I love so much. The Huda Beauty, I told you I've been wearing this so much, and I also told you I wanted to use a powder, but I think I'm going to build. Because this is, I just really love this. It's so easy. So do that. You can do it with your finger or Beauty Blender. And it's just so fresh. And I think I did a little bit more than I usually do. So it seems like the blower is over for now. I'm sorry about that. And in my distraction, I used the Huda instead of this one. And this is the one I use so much from Valentino. And it's really funny because as I put this on, I thought, oh, I think this is more colorful than I usually do. But I actually love it. So there you go. At first I was thinking I only like this on the lips, and I like this one on the cheek and the lips, but I do like this on the cheeks. So let's see. I think I hear the blower still. The motor is on. I am going to do a red lip because I think a red lip really goes with this, but I just wanted to first play with blush. I'm going to do this one. It's been a long time since I've used these, and that's just because I keep everything packed away and out of sight, out of mind. I might have gotten a lot on this. Let's just see. I think I got a lot on this one. I'm just going to go on with the Dior 999 because it's here, and it's the only red that I have out on my table. I do think I may have gone on a little too hard with the blush. I'm just into a very pale blush these days, but it's still beautiful. Both of them are beautiful. And let's talk about this. First of all, the packaging is beautiful. This is actual, not leather, but it has that cush thing. It's a beautiful color palette for every day, and I think for night as well. So I did wing just a little bit out. I think the look is super beautiful, very easy to travel with. If you have the Natasha Denona Glam and you're thinking, what's the difference? I don't know. I'm not going to do swatch comparisons. I would say you get a very, very similar look. It's just this one is small, and it's super elegant. I'm a sucker for packaging. It performs very well. My first time YSL shadows, I am not disappointed. A little powdery, so do knock off better than I did because I got a little drop down right here. Foundation. Everything else are things that I've recommended to you, except I don't think I recommended the Huda, but I'm going to now. This foundation is stunning. I haven't powdered the rest of my face, so let's do that. But I powdered a teeny bit right here when I powdered my concealer, and this concealer I haven't used in ages, as I said, because it's so light, but I am reminded at how effective it is. It's a very good concealer. I should have put that in my concealer video, which I'll link right here. So we're just going to take a little bit of my By Terry and take the sheen down. It accepts that very nicely. And the pink By Terry really kind of helped, I think, compensate for the a little too light concealer. And yeah, I really, really like this. I'm going to go look up what this is about, and I question, why is nobody talking about it? I'm very, very delighted with this. I am not delighted with the fact that if I do get this, I'm going to have to get 2 shades. So I'm going to have to figure something out what I can mix it with. And of course I will be getting a little bit lighter. I got to go investigate in real life this color situation, but I think this is gorgeous. I think my skin looks so good. And the last time I found something that I fell in love with was the Ritual de Fille, which I still very, very much love. But wow. Wow. That's going to wrap up this video, you guys. The next one will be the Xenon palette, which scares me so much. So much. I'm just afraid it's not going to be a flattering color because it is so dead. It looks like looking at a black and white photograph. Those kinds of grays and blacks. It's not warm. I think it's going to be very hard for me, but we're gonna do it anyway. Just take a look at the skin here. Seriously? That's pretty. That's pretty. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you come back again. Until the next time, I'm wishing you good health.